I always tried my best to be a good stepmother. Marcus, my husband's son from his first marriage, had just turned 19 and was home for the summer. He was quiet, respectful, and always seemed a little guarded, nothing unusual for a teenager navigating two households. But one night, everything I thought I knew shattered. It was late. I heard muffled voices from the guest house out back, Marcus's little space away from the main house. It was around 1 a.m., and I worried maybe he had invited someone over or was feeling unwell. I grabbed a glass of water and walked over to check in. What I saw through the half-open window will never leave me. My husband, Peter, was there, sitting too close to Marcus. They weren't talking like father and son. It was intimate. His hand was on Marcus's knee. Marcus looked anxious but not uncomfortable. I backed away, my heart thudding. Was I overthinking? I waited until Peter left the guest house around 2:30 a.m. The next day, I acted normal. But inside, everything felt wrong. I started noticing things I had missed: long texts from Marcus on Peter's phone, the emotional tone of their conversations, the way Peter would light up when Marcus entered the room. It was more than affection. It was emotional intimacy, almost romantic. I confronted Peter a week later. He denied everything. Claimed I was being paranoid. Gaslighting at its finest. But the way Marcus stopped speaking to me altogether, the way Peter got defensive and started locking his phone, everything confirmed what I feared. It wasn't physical, or at least, not yet. But Peter had become emotionally entangled with his own stepson in a way that blurred every line. The weeks after I left the house felt surreal. I kept trying to rationalize what I saw, replaying the moment in the guest house over and over, hoping there was some other explanation. But deep down, I knew what emotional betrayal looked like. And I knew what it felt like: raw, heavy, suffocating. Peter didn't reach out much. A few cold texts: "You're being dramatic. Please don't ruin this family." Not once did he ask how I was doing. Not once did he try to fix things. That silence told me everything. If he wasn't guilty, why wasn't he fighting for me? Why was he protecting Marcus so fiercely instead? I moved in with my sister across town, sleeping in her spare room that smelled like lavender and old candles. She was the only one I told the full story to. Her face twisted with disbelief, then fury, then concern. "Do you think anything physical happened?" she asked gently one night, as we sat on her porch drinking wine. "I don't know," I admitted. "And maybe I'll never know. But emotional cheating hurts just as much. Sometimes more." I started therapy a few weeks later. Not just for the betrayal, but for the layers underneath it: how I'd ignored my instincts for so long, how I had tried to be the perfect stepmother and wife, even when it meant overlooking things that made me uncomfortable. In one session, my therapist said something that stuck with me. Infidelity doesn't always wear obvious clothes. Sometimes, it's a whisper, a glance, a connection that excludes you. And that's what it was. I'd been excluded from something private and powerful, something that had no place in our family dynamic. I wasn't imagining it. I had felt it in my gut long before I saw it with my eyes. One day, months later, Marcus messaged me on Instagram. "I'm sorry for everything. I hope you're okay." That was it. Just 12 words. But they wrecked me. It was the first and only acknowledgement that something had happened, even if it was cloaked in ambiguity. I didn't respond. What could I say? I wasn't angry at Marcus. He was young, vulnerable, and emotionally dependent on Peter in ways I would never understand. But I couldn't pretend any of this was okay. I eventually filed for divorce. Quietly. No drama. No fights. Just a clean break from a man who had allowed something twisted to grow in the shadows. I never went public with the details. I didn't need to. My peace didn't require vengeance, it required distance. It's been over a year now. I have my own place. A new job. I've started dating again, slowly, cautiously. I still flinch when someone hides their phone screen, or when I hear late-night whispers in another room. But I'm healing. Some betrayals don't come from strangers or even lovers, they come from the people you swore you'd build a life with.
To select a new voice, just click on the speaker image or name. Browse and listen to our vast selection of voices and pick the perfect one for your project. Press Generate on the right to get started and then Play button to listen.
Kick-start your content creation with Jenny and unleash your creativity.